Hi everybody, how are you? Today I kind of want to have a bit of a talk to you about the NHS, the state of the NHS. Who am I to talk? I'm just another human being here in Great Britain, minus the great. I've got so much to say that I don't even know where to start, but let me start like this. First of all, before I go any further, for all those who've subscribed to my channel, thank you so much. I know I just rant generally, but thank you anyway. And thank you for coming and visiting, for those who are just visiting and popping in. If you are subscribing, you know when you press the subscribe button, bell thing, if you can press it down and click it down before you do that, or even once you've done that, and subscribe all, because if you don't, I've noticed it doesn't send you updates much, once in a blue. So guys, the NHS, the state of the NHS. So let me tell you a bit about me, okay? I mean, there's loads of stuff I could tell you, but for many years I've been having migraines, headaches, okay? And I've had them for years. I had concussion, did I have it twice when I was a kid? And that's not good. And I had headaches. I mean, we had a traumatic upbringing that might play a part. I also jumped off a wall when I was a kid and I smashed my nose. I mean, some who've watched my videos can see that I kind of look a bit like an eagle from certain angles. And you know, we've all got insecurities, so like there's a bend in my nose. Obviously I've never you know, you don't just get plastic surgery unless you're rich, so my nose could have been fixed at the time in those days if it had been, you know, seen to, but I just went home bleeding out the nose and it was never really looked at. As a result of that, I believe that probably is what caused my deviated septum. Now, I've never known that I've got a deviated septum until last year. You know, it was confirmed. But anyway, I've always known there's something wrong. So let me go back a bit. Over the years, I've always had these migraines. So I've had occasional brain scans. And I've usually done those brain scans. In fact, I think I've always done those brain scans over the years privately. So I've gone and paid £200 or £250 over the years from a place called Vista Diagnostics, because over the years I would sometimes get worried about these headaches and think, I wonder if they're serious. There was even a time when I started getting migraines with aura, and so I was dizzy and I had numbness on one side of the body, and I really started thinking I've got to have some sort of brain tumour or something. Anyway, over the years when I had a couple of brain scans, they always said they were relatively normal. Problem was though that I was having a private brain scan done by myself, well, not by myself, through my own sort of like setting up, and then I was having the NHS read the report, and so I was trying to use my resources that way and hope for the best, and so I was always told that my brain scans are kind of normal. One of the brain scans said though, and I always remember this, something about I think it was the right side of my nasal passage or something is completely obliterated. And I remember thinking, what the heck does that mean? And I took it to an NHS doctor and they didn't know what to do with that. And I kind of just got on with my life because I was having children and doing stuff. Now, I keep having these headaches, although they've died down at the moment, but when they come, they're really bad. Like I can't do anything, I can't function. And as I get older, you know, it bothers me. Plus, maybe you can hear, even though I sing, I'm quite nasal. I'm quite a nasally person, and it might have something to do with that whole head concussion twice, smashing my nose, you know, the obliterated nasal thing. Anyway, about a year and a half ago, I got paranoid again, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to have another brain scan, and I'm going to have to pay for it. So I paid for it. And on the brain scan, it said that they can see what looks like fibrous dysplasia, which is, I don't know, look it up. I can't remember what that exactly means. And what looks like some sort of osteoma, which is a bony tumour, usually benign. And they said on the end of their report, the written report for after the scan, that they recommend that I have a CT scan on my sinuses. And so with that, I went to the doctors, and I said to the doctors, you know, normal NHS doctors, who are generally okay, but you know, they are jack of all trades, master of none, right? So, and you know, for years I was like always going down the alternative route. I didn't want to touch medication. everything has hit the fan for me because of menopause, and I've reached out for a lot of medication over the last few years. But anyhow, I digress. So I go to my doctors and I say, look at what this report says. This report says that I should have a CT scan, blah blah blah. And what he does is he refers me in the first instant to an ENT place in Watford. So I go there, and around that time COVID had stopped being a thing, but there were still some people that were still paranoid about it. And so I go in there, and as I go in there, the nurse calls me in. The nurse has got a mask on, and the Asian doctor has got a mask on. And I come in without a mask because COVID's long past now. We're so out of that. And I was never into it in the first place. But I mean, even more so now, can we just move on, with that whole scamdemic thing? I just don't want to hear about it. Anyhow, so they call me in, and as I come in, the nurse is trying to say, oh, can you put on a mask, please? And I said, I don't want to put on a mask. On top of it, I've come to see ENT. Like, should you not be thinking about seeing my nose? Anyway, the doctor was actually really mean, and he started saying, I'm sorry, but you need to wear a mask. I'm not going to see you unless you wear a mask. So I reluctantly take a flipping mask. I feel like I don't like these things, and I never would wear them, but here I am. I'm stuck in a room with this guy, so okay, I put it on for a moment. I put it on, but obviously he's asking me questions, so I'm taking it down. Can you keep the mask up? What the heck? So anyway, so I said, look, I really get anxious with these things, and I don't like putting it over my face. So look, anyway, he wants to see the letter. So I show him the letter the scan results, that said from the private scan at the bottom of it that in their opinion I should get a CT scan and have this osteoma thing looked at to confirm if it is in fact that. Hear him. He looks at that and he sort of poo-poos it and goes, oh, I don't know why people go and get private scans these days. Obviously they're bound to find something. Duh. What? They're bound to find something. I mean, if they find something, it's because there is something, you chump. Anyway, so, sorry, I'm not educated enough to be calling Dr. So-and-so a chump, right? But I was absolutely like, and he kept on with the mask and pull your mask up. And I just thought, for goodness sake, this is like circus land, you know what I mean? This is like La La Land, mate. And so with all of that, then he goes, well, look, at the end of the day, do you want me to examine you quickly? I can stick this, I can't remember, whatever scope thing up your nose and have a look. I'm thinking, hold on, but the report on the CT private scan says that you should have a CT. And I said, shouldn't I be referred to have a CT scan? He said, well, no, I don't think you need one. I can have a look up your nose now. And I'm like, who are you, mate? You know what I mean? So, and because he was being nasty and his tone, I didn't like his tone, I said, no, it's okay. So I'm thinking, I don't trust this guy behind a wall to stick anything up my nose and look anywhere. So I said, look, you know what? Thank you, but I think I'll pass. And I got up and said, thank you for your time, bye-bye. And I walked out of there and I just thought to myself, really? Do you know what I mean? This is awful. And I'd waited for that. So obviously, because that happened, it put me off and I didn't bother chasing it up. And I think about 7 or 8 months must have gone by. So actually my time scale about 1.5 years ago, I don't know how right it is, but let me just say about 7 or 8 months passed by. And I thought about it again. I thought, gosh, I'm getting these headaches still. They come and they go, but they're really bad. And I forgot all about the fact that I was referred to this guy and he was a knucklehead, you know what I mean? So I thought to myself, hold on, let me phone my doctor again. So I phoned my doctor again and did a telephone consultation, and I said to him, doctor, you referred me to ENT. Well, the guy was really rude, actually. He was more concerned about me wearing a mask and stuff like that than actually looking into what the report said. And he actually said that he doesn't understand why people go and get private scans these days because they're bound to find something if you do that. And it's like, no, because you don't want to do any work and you're going to be finding nothing because you're never going to get anyone to have any sort of scans or anything, because for some reason it's affecting your pocket personally to actually do your job. But I don't get it. I don't get this life. I really am. I'm 52 and I'm not getting this life. There's so many things I don't get, honestly. So the doctor said, yeah, but I already referred you. I said, yeah, but I've just explained. You did refer me, doctor. But when I saw that guy, he didn't do anything. And in the end, I didn't get anything done because I just left. Because he was so rude. And he said, oh, right. I said, so I'm saying, can you do me the same thing, a referral, but to somewhere better? You know? Anyway, he referred me to, was it Aspire or something like that? It was just a really, I think it was Spire. Yeah, Spire. And in Bushy. And it was really lovely. And I can't believe it, you know, because these days, sometimes when you see an NHS doctor, so I'm having hot flush, they refer you to a private place sometimes, if you're lucky, if you're very fortunate. So I go to this private place and oh my goodness, what a difference, you know, straight away, coffee machine, and they're saying, hello, madame, and it's like, I'm thinking to myself, whoa, you know, it's amazing, isn't it? So I'm looking at all of the people there that are, you know, some of them have money and that's why they're able to come and sit in that lovely environment and not be treated like a piece of trash. Anyway, I get called through and I see a ENT doctor. He's very nice. And he talks to me. He looks up my nose very nicely, like talks, and he says, right, you need a CT scan. He looks at the report. He doesn't dilly-dally like the other guy. He looks at the report, sees what it says and says, right, so we need to get you a scan. In the meantime, let me just check if I could have a look up your nose, and right, you've got a deviated septum. And I thought, okay, so that's the first time I knew that I had, but it kind of makes sense. I've got such a bend in my nose. If I look from this side in any of my videos, I look like an eagle. If I look like this side, I feel a little bit better. That's just me, but that is a fact because my nose has actually never been straightened. It's got like a hard bony thing here going on. Anyway, maybe that's why I can't breathe a lot of the time. Anyway, yeah, so where was I? Okay, I know where I was. All right, okay, do I know where I was? Yes. So he sent me away. I was happy because the appointment was, I don't know, a couple of weeks away. Came back for that appointment. Come in, madame. You know, had this scan of my nasal. Came back another following week or whatever it was. And he sat me down. And he said, well, you were right. There is something else going on. And I thought, oh, no, please, 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 because I got really scared. And he said, well, you know, we can see what does look like a frontal nasal osteoma around this kind of place, and it could be causing headaches, and it's, I think, 7 millimeters. I don't think it's that big or anything, but he said, so I'm going to refer you to Guy's Hospital to see a specialist. And it so happens that the specialist from Guy's Hospital was visiting today, and he saw your scan, and he said, yeah, that looks like an osteoma, which is usually benign but sometimes can be cancerous. And I said, oh my gosh, what would happen? He said, well, they'd probably do surgery and they'd probably do a biopsy. I was like, really? Oh, wow. So it sounded really like a big deal to me, and I was really scared. I'll be honest, I did have a cry. And there's so many ways to die, isn't there, in this world? We start to realise our own mortality as we get older. But anyway, so I had a cry in the car. But he referred me. Now this referral now has been taking ages. That was July last year. We are now March 2025. That was July 2024. And don't forget, there'd been a whole 6 to 8 month break where I hadn't even seen an ENT doctor because of the other one. And before that, I'd had a brain scan of my own that I had to pay for. So this has been going on for years, but this particular process has been going on for a while. So I've tried to chase it up, and I tell you what, Guy's Hospital, I haven't been there yet. My appointment is, I think, next Monday. Finally, they've cancelled it, moved it, cancelled it, moved it, wrote to me, cancelled it, moved it, and it's really annoying. I've actually wrote emails saying, look, I could be dead, like this thing could be growing, and what do? They don't answer. They just cancel it and move it further away even. Can you get them on the phone? Never. So it's really worrying because, you know, like this whole NHS or the medical establishment like to say you've got to find these things early. How exactly do you find them early if you suspect you've got something and nobody will even scan you and nobody will even check it out? So in that year that you're waiting because of the fact that this country's completely out of control, your growth or whatever it is could be getting bigger and ultimately killing you. So that by the time they finally get to you, they'll be going, oh, I'm really sorry. It's, it's grown to such a thing that now, you know, you're, what's it, stage 4 or whatever it is, you know what I mean? Whatever it is. So all I'm saying is I'm so crushed by life. I'm so crushed by life. The fact that unless you have money, and I've always said this, and I know I sound miserable, but look, seriously, in the UK, if you have money, you can get a nice coffee machine in the waiting room and treated like you're an actual person. But if you don't, God help us, God help us, the NHS, I know they're great, my sister said it today, they're great if your sort of leg falls off, but until your leg falls off, forget it. So your legs got to actually fall off, and then they are great. You know, NHS ambulance get you in there, you go through emergency, you get operated on. But if your leg's actually only falling off, they'll just leave it until it falls off. I can't. I feel so emotional. Remember I did that video about an ambulance for my friend's daughter. It's disgusting. I mean, I'm not only saying this for myself, I'm just saying, can you imagine the amount of people who are way worse, in way worse situations than I am? I'm worried that this thing that is in the nasal part of my head is actually growing, and I've been getting like these pulses like here, and then on top of it I've been getting some other suspect things. The last few well, just before I went away to Jamaica, I've been getting lump here, and then now I've had a lump appear here and a lump here, so it could even be something like osteoarthritis, I don't know. And I'm also feeling like a bit of a stinging pain there, and like a bit of pain in my left knee. So, you know, I wonder if it's all related, and I wonder if something is sort of like, I don't know. I hope not. But anyway, the point is, can I do anything about it? No. And so, yeah, you can't actually stop things progressing. So you're kind of like destined to sort of like just get sick and die, really. So I am sorry to be negative, but that's my view of the NHS. It really, really sucks. Is it free for people and stuff? Okay, yeah, that's good. But you know, I heard in some countries, and not every country is great, but in some countries, you know, like at least the private fees that you have to pay are not so expensive. So things are accessible. You can go and say, well, let me sort myself out then, being as I'm going to have to wait 2 years for this tumour to be looked at. Anyway, guys, it was nice to catch up. I do hope to have a better subject next time. But this was a very real thought that's on my mind at the moment. What do you think, guys? What do you think about the NHS? The state of the NHS. I mean, people talk about, oh yeah, because of immigrants, because of that, and don't get me wrong, I think they do need to get control on you know, like on numbers. You know, for example, my friend said the other day, you know what, it's like I can't get anywhere to live. I can't get help from this government. I can't get council housing or anything like that. But yeah, if somebody comes in you know, seeking asylum, they get to be put in a hotel, and they get all these sort of like you know, they tick boxes, you know. And in the UK, as a British national, you don't really tick a box, especially if you work. I mean, you really don't tick a box then, but if you don't work and you need a bit of help and you fall on hard times, you are definitely going to get to the bottom of the pile, you know. So I don't know, guys, I don't know what the answer is, because I'm not a horrible person, I would like to think. I wouldn't like to ever say people can't seek safety and refuge in a country, but when the country is bursting at the seams and it's actually, people are dying on trolleys in hallways in the NHS hospitals, and you know, I don't know, people, you know, I don't even know what else to say, because I'm so like, you know, it's just so frustrating, because you can't do anything. You literally have to kind of watch yourself sort of like deteriorate and just see the outcome of it. And you almost know when you get there, they're going to say, oh, well, I'm afraid that, you know, I had to even do that investigation of that private scan by myself, or I wouldn't have even had the scan, because nobody takes you seriously. And then when I did the scan, the first doctor told me it was like rubbish, basically, and the second doctor was good enough to, because he was private, to send me for the scan that I needed. Anyway, I'm still waiting for Guy's Hospital. I think I'm being seen on, don't quote me, but I think it's on the 17th, which is, I think, next Monday, 17th of March. I don't know. It will probably be just a sit down to say something very generic, you know, like, oh right, okay, so we've seen your scan result, and there's nothing to worry about. You know, loads of people have that and they live fine with it. You know, just if you get any further symptoms, let us know. That's what I expect. But you never know. Miracles might happen. They might say, actually, we're going to do the because that Dr. Inspire recommends that there be an MRI to further see what's going on in there. So guys, I would say wish me luck, but I don't believe in luck. So I hope everything's okay. I don't know. Anyway, bye guys, have a nice one, and I will do a more cheerful video another time. Bye. Please can you put your comments in the comment box, just to tell me, what do you think? What do you think of the NHS? What do you think about the treatment of human beings right now in our lovely jubbly system? Has anybody got any testimonies of any good things that have happened? I mean, don't get me wrong, like I said, they're great for emergencies, they're great when you're really, you know, when your leg drops off, but yeah, put it in the comments, folks, what you think, and I'll hear from you, I hope, another time. Okay, bye.